I'm here with the 2025 Camry XSE. This is fully loaded, coming around $42,000, $43,000. And I want to talk about if this vehicle is better than a Lexus, namely the Lexus ES. It's based off of this same platform. Now that ES has not been updated since 2019. I should say majorly redesigned since 2019. And I used to be a Lexus sales consultant. And when this Camry came out and I drove it for the first time, I'm like, man, I don't know if the Lexus ES is worth it anymore because the Camry's become so good and refined. So in this video, I'm gonna break down if this comes close to Lexus territory, and if so, should you even ever consider a Lexus ES anymore? All right, premium lights. The Lexus ES has triple beam LED headlights, but those are optional. This also has optional headlights. And I would say these are absolutely Lexus quality, just doesn't have that triple LED action. It has double LED action. Watch my nighttime driving impressions of the new Camry. The lights are absolutely fantastic. Now this is an optional piece here. I want to say it's 400 bucks, this accent lighting here. Again, making it look, I would say, more premium. Some people might not like that. And why are we even comparing Toyota to Lexus in the first place? Well, Lexus is the luxury division of Toyota. All right, and this vehicle as well as the ES are both built in Kentucky. So I'm looking to see if I can find Lexus traits with this vehicle to determine if it's absolutely Lexus quality. All right, I'm feeling the hood gap here. It's absolutely perfectly smooth with the front bumper. All right, there's not even a misalignment. It perfectly aligns not only with the lines, but also with the front bumper. As we come to the side here, this is typically where manufacturers, the Harley goes by, the manufacturer's hoods, this is very difficult for them to line up, and it is absolutely perfect. My friend David Chow would be very, very impressed. Now, it's a little bit thinner here, and it widens a little bit here, and then it gets a little bit thinner in some places, but it is, so far, at least with the hood alignment, it is absolutely perfect so far. As we come back, I'm looking for narrow gaps in the door and uniformity. I'm seeing that, and I feel it on the back of my hand. It's absolutely, oh, I found maybe a dip, just a little bit. Finally, it's not perfectly aligned right there, but as I go down, it lines absolutely perfect. So I'm not gonna do the whole car. I'll let my friend David do that. But in terms of panel fitment and alignment, it is, I would say, Lexus quality. All right, just look at how tiny this door gap is here too. This is pretty small. We have this reservoir blue paint, and I think it's nice, but I can see quite a bit of orange peel here. It might not come up on the camera, but it is definitely nowhere near the finish of a Lexus with its paint colors and its overall luxury and finish compared to a Lexus paint color, but it's still pretty good, I would say. Now, door feel. These front doors for the new generation Camry, they are absolutely Lexus quality. Not only are they heavy, but they also have acoustic glass here in this XSE, which is typically seen in Lexus models, all right? So very luxurious, not only with the heft, but also with the noise isolation here. We have baby Abe with us today. I haven't mentioned that yet. Baby Abe, he didn't sleep last night. So the Camry has already put him to sleep, and I've only driven it about 5 minutes getting to this park. So he's doing quite well. All right, materials back here, it is not Lexus materials, all right? And this door is noticeably lighter compared to the front door, all right? The front door, A+ luxury quality. This is more of a mass market door, but notice how it closes. Absolutely perfect fitment and closing with that rear door. I'm not gonna slam it too hard with Abe in there. Now these are optional 19-inch wheels. To me, they look very premium. I want to say they're about 1,500 bucks. And if you want that street cred, like a Lexus ES F Sport will get you with 19-inch wheels, you can get it here in the Camry. All right, as we come to the back, you know, a lot of high-end ESs, there we go, will have automated lift gate here. I also have a spare tire under here. And there's really nothing that special back here. Now, I would say the materials that line the trunk would be a little bit better on a Lexus ES, all right? And the reason is it would reduce sound coming from the trunk. But notice there's felt lined on the back of the seats. It's also gonna reduce noise coming in from the trunk as well. But I would say the trunk is not the most important thing when it comes to Lexus and Toyota. But yeah, even the trunk fitment here, this line is a little bit off, but the rest of the fitment's really, really impressive here. Even the gas cap feels absolutely perfectly aligned. All the lines perfectly match up here. It's very, very well built, and they've been building the Camry in Kentucky for a long time. All right, baby Abe's sleeping, the AC's running nice and cold. Now, the engine's on, that's why the AC's running. And when I say the engine's on, it's not really on. The Camry's a standard hybrid, all right? So the car is on, it's ready to drive. And the Lexus, oh my gosh, this hood is so heavy. The Lexus ES will probably adopt aluminum hood for the next generation. I'm not quite sure if it does right now. It's been a while since I've reviewed an ES, but the engine just kicked on. Now, an ES is gonna have hood props, like shocks that automatically keep the hood up for you. This has that traditional stick right there that is manual, all right? But if you look at a Lexus UX, for example, it has that same prop stick too. So yeah, you even see Lexus cutting corners on certain models. Now, this doesn't have anything fancy like you can get on an ES F Sport with adaptive suspension. And the engine here though, and the hybrid system is something you can't get in the ES, nor can you get all-wheel drive in the ES. So this hybrid is a 5th generation hybrid. It has 232 horsepower. The Lexus ES hybrid on the 4th gen isn't nearly as smooth. It's front-wheel drive only, and I want to say it has around 208 horsepower. So this has about, I don't know, let's say 15 horsepower more than the ES hybrid until the ES hybrid gets a redesign. But this hood is heavy. I'm going to lower it down, and you can just hear the heft of that hood. Hopefully that didn't wake up baby Abe on the inside, but just the hood fitment is absolutely perfect. All right, panel roof, I think you can get that on the ES as well. That's typically a pretty luxurious feature. And just listen to that door slam. Super, super solid. All right, steering wheel, absolutely Lexus quality. You might not have the fancy contrasting stitching as you'd see maybe in an F Sport ES, but this baseball stitching here is done really, really well. Absolutely Lexus quality. I don't believe you can get this 12-inch screen on the ES. This is a newer technology piece for Toyota, and I think you can see it in, let's say, the TX for Lexus has it, but not even the RZ, not the RX or NX to my remembrance, and definitely not the ES. This 12-inch screen, well, this is why I like it better than Lexus models, because on the new Lexus models, they have a 14-inch screen and all of your climate control is digital inside the touchscreen. And it works fairly well, but I love the ability to just have physical buttons here. Not only do they look great, but interacting with the car is very pleasant and simple and straightforward. Now, the ES still has physical climate controls for now, but the way Lexus is going, they'll probably get rid of them with the next generation ES. All right, tons of USB-Cs in here. I have vents in the back like a luxury car. You don't really see them in most Accords, for example, so it's kind of a surpass the Accord in terms of luxury as well. These seats, I want to say they're Softex. They don't come close to Lexus quality. Not only are they not as comfortable as a Lexus, you know, they're stiffer. Just the padding is plush or soft underneath the leather compared to a Lexus seat. So the ES absolutely takes the cake here compared to the Camry in terms of seat comfort. There's no denying it. But in terms of seat customization, I do have memory seats, not on this model. I believe it's on the XLE model. So if you want to have more of that traditional ES luxury in a Camry, get the XLE. This is more of a, how this vehicle is equipped is more like, let's say, an F Sport model for the ES with the big wheels and everything in the XSE package. We also have a head-up display here. That is the newer head-up display for Toyota and Lexus models. The ES head-up display, not only if you can find one, it's going to be very, very expensive by the time you option an ES with this with a head-up display. It's an older technology head-up display. This one is much better, clear, brighter, displays more information as well. I do not have a digital rearview mirror. I don't think the ES does either. Well, check this out. I have 360 camera. And I believe you can also get that in the ES. Heated and ventilated seats. I have a heated steering wheel here. So yeah, it's really cool that you have an automated steering wheel. I mean, you see that in something like a Lexus LS, for example. Very, very fancy. All right. In terms of climate control, it's very, very cold. just one bar. Sometimes I have to turn down, like, because auto right now it wants to have it on 2 fan speeds and it's just too cold. So, all right, what about audio systems? The JBL here, it is good. It hits hard. It gets pretty loud as well. It is not Mark Levinson quality, and it doesn't get as loud as Mark Levinson. And it rattles the door panels a little bit more compared to a more insulated Lexus, I would say. And if I just look at the materials on the dash here, it is not as impressive. Materials on the doors overall, even though it's better on the Camry with this perforated synthetic leather here on the side, it's just not quite up to Lexus quality, but it's getting really close in my opinion for everything that this vehicle offers you. But if the vehicle doesn't drive smooth or quietly, then what's the point? So let's start driving I almost said the Lexus ES, the new 2025 Camry. Pulling out of the parking lot here, the engine fired on, remember when we were underneath the hood, and that does it to recharge the battery. And I'm running on battery only here at these low speeds. Some people on the channel were asking about EV mode button. They're all but useless on Toyota hybrids. The car automatically puts itself into EV mode if it has enough battery charge, and if you're not running it hard, it'll like to be in EV mode. All right, but the engine just kicked on there because the battery's getting a little low. Now you can't see the battery charge, I don't believe, from the camera angle. And in previous Toyotas or other Toyota and Lexus models, they'll have like an energy monitor, but for some reason I don't have the energy monitor that I can display on the main screen here to show the battery, what the engine is doing, what the battery is doing, what's assisting with what. Now I mentioned this car has all-wheel drive. You can get all-wheel drive in the ES, but it's a mechanical linkage, and it's only the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It's not the V6. If it had a V6 and mechanical all-wheel drive, that thing would be a missile. But the V6 is front-wheel drive only, the hybrid is front-wheel drive only, and the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter is all-wheel drive only. If you want the hybrid and all-wheel drive, it's just not available in the ES, at least not until the next generation. So that's why you would get, and I have wireless Android Auto here, I love that. That's why you get the Camry, or one of the reasons you get the Camry. All right, how smooth is it? How quiet is it? Well, I haven't taken it on the highway yet, but the way this thing drives in town, even with these massive 19-inch wheels, I would say is absolutely Lexus ride quality. Toyota really beefed up the suspension, not only for the XSE models, but they refined it for the mass market LE and XLE models, which are a little bit less sporty, of course. They're more a cushier Lexus ride, the LE and the XLE. And those have smaller wheel diameters, which are going to provide even a cushier ride. But with these 19s, I'm impressed with the ride quality. And it only gets better the smaller the wheel size you get, and it'll get better on the LE and the XLE without it having the Sport Tune suspension. All right, I feel like the handling in here is just as good as an ES F Sport, possibly. I mean, I know that has adaptive dampers, but this vehicle is also lighter than an ES. When you throw it in the turns, it feels very, very happy and planted. And the steering feel in here and the brake feel in here is as good, if not better, than the Lexus ES. All right, we're just gonna throw this around the turn here. And you have less wheel spin here compared to most Lexus ES models, right? The V6 has lots of power and torque, and yeah, you're gonna have front wheel drive wheel spin. But since this has an electric motor to help propel you through the turns, you hardly get any slippage. Now, I did some 0 to 60s yesterday. I was not impressed with the 0 to 60, but in terms of responsiveness, which is a very luxurious, important aspect to me, I want power when I want power. And when I put the pedal down, there's no waiting. And not only is there no waiting, the droniness has been largely removed from this 5th generation Toyota hybrid. And it still picks up really, really well. Even though 0 to 60 is not that impressive, it gives me that response almost like an electric car. Not quite as instant, but it's awfully close and is about as good as you can get for an internal combustion vehicle, the responsiveness. Again, go. and then it goes. I'm not even in sport mode where it's just a hair faster with responsiveness. So very, very impressed. And let's get into the brake feel. You know, Toyota Lexus hybrids, it's hit or miss with previous generation hybrid systems. I feel like this brake pedal is absolutely perfect for the style of this. It doesn't have a great initial bite, but it's got a great heft to it and a really good predictability. And that leads to a more safe vehicle, in my opinion, is braking predictability. All right. You may have heard a chime. It does have front cross traffic alert. That's something I don't think the ES has, and it will get it when it gets Lexus Safety System 3.0 or greater. But the safety features here, I do have traffic jam assist, and I don't believe that's available on the ES. And so I'm going to play that traffic jam assist coverage for you guys, that I found myself stuck in some traffic, and it performed really well. Yeah, so some of you were asking me about traffic jam assist, and I'm like, nah, I'm never gonna need traffic jam assist. There's never any backups where I live, and go figure. I've been stuck in traffic for 30 minutes on this same street, and there are no turns or anything. It's a straight, go figure, it's Florida. And I made sure traffic jam assist was turned on in the settings. So you just press hold here, you press OK, and then you go down all the way to here, and you go to vehicle settings, and then you have to be going slow enough or pretty much stop to turn on traffic jam assist. It might already be on for some of you guys, but yeah, it's not asking me to hold the steering wheel while the car's just creeping along here. And it is adaptive, so I mean, it says 19 miles an hour here, but it also comes up on the head-up display, which I think is blinking for you guys, and the steering wheel's kind of moving. Again, I'm going straight, but it will adjust itself as needed, and the Escape in front of me is pretty much pulled over to this side of the road, and it's not having a problem doing the traffic jam assist. So, hey, yeah, I mean, if you're in an area that this happens regularly, I could absolutely see look, again, no hands on the wheel. I could absolutely see the benefit of this technology. Me, where I'm at, this is like once a year. I've never seen this happen before. So for me, it probably wouldn't be worth it, but it comes on, I think, here, let's just get the window sticker and we can do this. And I don't recommend it, but it's traffic jam assist, and that's kind of what it's for you to do other things when you're stuck in mind-numbing traffic. I think this comes a part of, yes, there it is, traffic jam assist. It is a part of the Premium Plus package. But traffic jam assist, I believe, also requires Drive Connect trial subscription, which is 1 year. So you pay for it up front, and then you're gonna have to pay yearly. I have no idea how much yearly, but you're gonna have to pay yearly to keep your traffic jam assist going. And to me, that just makes me angry thinking about it. So again, it depends on where you live, and maybe hands-free driving and stop and go situations like this is totally worth any sort of investment, and this is probably why we have a backup. I'm seeing a big dump truck being put on the back of a semi. I've never seen a dump truck getting towed before, so we're experiencing all sorts of new stuff, and here are the coppers. So I think this is a good opportunity to shut down the camera, and there you go, traffic jam assist 101 in the new 2025 Camry. I have no wind seeping in through the windows. I have no air, like wind buffeting around the mirrors. You know, that over the broken pavement, no car does well there because that bridge sucks. Oh, but this Corolla doesn't know what they're doing. But it feels like a Lexus, honestly. A Lexus might be a hair quieter, but unless you drive them back to back, you're not gonna know. All right, so 60 miles an hour, at least in my testing, super quiet for a mainstream sedan. No annoying road noise, even with these massive 19-inch wheels. And if you blindfolded me, I would absolutely think I'm in a Lexus until I start maybe feeling around the dash or something. But even the dash is soft touch. So I guess I would have to feel here. Most Lexuses don't have the dedicated physical buttons for climate control, but the shifter feels great. The armrest is nice and soft. Like, this would be an excellent commuter car. And if you want more of that non-sporty, traditional Lexus luxury, just get the XLE or even the LE, because I was really impressed with those models too, with their affordability and the luxury that they provide. All right, and don't think you need to get the XLE or XSE just because of the acoustic windows. Yes, they do help a little bit, but I was really impressed with the base model's quietness as well. I did a full interview with Miles Brandon from Miles Per Hour. We were in the new Camry for like, I don't know, it was a long time. It was probably 2 hours we were driving, and we were just able to have a great and easy conversation. Yeah, it's just an absolutely fantastic vehicle. Every single trim level, I'm very impressed with the new Camry. The ride quality is so much more improved, the sound installation, the road installation, the refinement of the powertrain, the improvement of the materials throughout the cabin. The build quality is fantastic. Now, of course, that can change model per model, but that can even change on a Lexus model per model. So I just can't recommend, I don't think, a Lexus ES at this point, unless for two things. You need to have the V6, and you need to have elite seat comfort. I sold many cars to clients that had to have the best of the best when it came to seat comfort, and I totally get it. You're not going to have that elite seat comfort here. For example, I was in a Volvo XC90 this week. It has Napa leather, and those seats are more comfortable than this. But you know what? I remember driving the LE with the cloth seats. The cloth seats on the LE were more comfortable than these leather seats that are a little bit more stiff, a little bit less forgiving. So yes, if seat comfort is more important to you, try out also the LE with the cloth seats. I felt like it felt like sitting on a nice sofa. These definitely are not as comfortable. It almost, they're just not. Maybe I need to break them in. Maybe they'll stretch out over time if I own this vehicle. But yeah, they're just not as, like, I don't feel like I'm sitting in the seat. I feel like more like I'm sitting on top of the seat. So Lexus has a beat there, but also the base LE, which costs $30K. The sound system's good enough. Everything else is so good in here. The powertrain's better than the ES hybrid. I have all-wheel drive optional on here. I have great fuel economy. The clock is telling me about 43, 44 miles per gallon, mainly driving around town. And that's where the sticker says it is on this model, but it doesn't account for these 19-inch wheels, which are going to further reduce your fuel economy as well. But I was hoping that the Camry wasn't as good as I remembered it during the first media drive. When I drove it back in April, when I drove the Crown Signia, stuff like that. And this vehicle blew the Crown Signia out of the water in terms of refinement, smoothness, NVH, ride quality, just, in terms of like exterior design, the Crown Signia has a beat. I feel like the Crown Signia is an absolutely gorgeous lifted wagon, but I would buy this over it. Not only is it 10 grand cheaper, in some instances it's 15 grand cheaper than the Crown Signia. It's more smooth. It has a next generation, 5th generation Toyota powertrain in it compared to the 4th generation on it. It just had a lot of noise and vibration coming in, not only from the engine, but from the road, harshness coming through the suspension on the Crown Signia. It definitely felt like a fancier RAV4 instead of a slightly decontented Lexus. This, my friends, feels more like an ES than the old Camry did, and in some ways out ES's the ES with the refinement of its powertrain and just the overall improvements it has through the improved suspension refinements, as well as braking and steering enhancements for this generation. The Camry is the big surprise for me this year. I had zero expectations from it. I'm like, the old Camry, it was kind of cheap, and it was fine. It was a fine daily commuter. Now, this gives me Lexus levels of refinement, smoothness, and quiet, and even technology that the ES doesn't have, that I cannot recommend the ES. Again, I did not want the Camry to be as good as I remembered it after the first media drive, because I'm like, maybe they just handpicked those models because, they wanted to impress the journalists. I don't know. But this thing is top of the class, and I would buy this. I drove a BMW 530i last week, and that 530i wasn't more quiet than this. It wasn't smoother than this. Its interior was not as pleasing as this to work with, this is absolutely a better vehicle than a 5 Series. You might be saying, Kirk, you're crazy, rear wheel drive. Yes, the 5 Series handles better just by a hair, but it is also heavier. And if you want to have that rear, I know it's like apples to oranges, but I'm saying, like, if you blindfolded yourself and you drove this, I almost called it an ES again, you drove the Camry back to back with an ES or a 5 Series, you would be absolutely surprised, unless you put the pedal down, then you would know you're in a BMW, but or a V6 ES, but you'd be absolutely surprised just how good this Camry is. And I probably sound like an absolute shield at this point. No, I'm not getting paid by Toyota. I drive, I don't know, 100 different types of cars every single year, and I had low expectations for this, and it absolutely blew away my expectations, and it is one of the best buys on the market right now. I put it up there with, let's say, the Honda Civic. I could talk about this all day, but I eventually have to shut myself off. I've been trying to kill this video, or kill myself talking in this video for the last 5+ minutes. And how does it handle this huge pothole here? No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be able, there was no creaks or rattles. No creaks or rattles when I hit that big pothole. And there was no sound or harshness thrown through the vehicle. And it has the bigger 19-inch wheels. Like, it shouldn't be able to handle stuff like that with grace, luxury grace. And yes, go buy yourself a Camry if you like sedans, if you like smoothness, refinement, and a great value. What better way to finish behind a Lexus GX? And like, I can barely hear that semi. Like, I can't hear the cars around me. Absolutely pin drop quiet in this Camry, especially with this acoustic glass. Like, if this Camry had 3 rows of seats, I would go buy one right now. But, you know, the Sienna it feels very Toyota, and it's very loud and buzzy, and just nowhere close to the refinement as this, nor is the Highlander or the Grand Highlander. But Abe is starting to wake up, and he might want me here. And I've been talking too much about the Camry. He's probably sick of it. So we need to get home. And man, Toyota, absolute home run here. Couldn't be more impressed with the new Camry. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.